I sold over 21,000 high content books on Amazon, and in this video we're going to go over exactly what you need to know to sell more books. When you look at Amazon KDP not as a way to publish a couple of coloring books and suddenly make thousands of dollars, but as a way to build a real income over a long period of time with hard work and investment, you realize that making a couple $1,000s a month is actually very manageable. So we're going to go over exactly what makes a good book topic, how to create a book that people actually want to buy over the competitors, how to launch that book so it actually gets seen, and most importantly, how you can actually sustain book sales over time. Let's dive into it. So what makes a good high content book topic? So the first thing is solving one problem for one person. We have to make sure the books we are creating and the topics we're publishing in are solving one problem for one person, and they're not too broad and vague. These are things like stock market investing for beginners, keto diet cookbook for seniors over 60. We do not want to publish books in things like how to be happy, relationships, investing. There are tons of sub niches within these topics. If we just publish books to these broad topics expecting to sell, we're going to be very disappointed. If it doesn't fall under the category of one problem for one person, you probably need to niche down. So the second thing, and arguably the most important thing to having a good book topic, is do not assume. If you want to publish a book on, let's say, Wall Applies for Women or any one of these topics, you need to validate that that exact topic actually has demand. What I mean by this is, let's say we have the topic cognitive behavioral therapy, and we've proven that this is good. We want to now create a book that is on cognitive behavioral therapy. We do not want to prove that CBT is a good topic and then create a book that's titled CBT for women over 50. This is a separate keyword. It's a different topic, and we need to go and validate this other topic and see if this audience is looking for this book. This is a big thing I've seen with my coaching over the last year, is people find a topic that has demand and they assume that if they make a book targeting a specific person, everybody who falls under that category that searches the topic is going to buy their book. This is a great way to get disappointed. We want to make sure that we are finding and validating good book topics, and then the books we are creating are directly matching that search term. It doesn't matter what you think will sell. What matters is what the data says. So it's very important we do not assume that a customer is there unless we can prove it. And so CBT and CBT for women over 50 are two separate topics and should be validated separately so that we can actually prove that there is demand. So continuing on with this topic, we want to make sure that the search results of our search term match the search term itself. Let's say I type in the topic relationships and I've validated that this is a good keyword. There's tons of demand, there's tons of search volume. So then I go and create a book on this topic. However, if you actually look closer, you're going to realize that all the books that are here, yes, they fall under the category of relationships, but there's a lot of different subtopics here. You have making a marriage work, you have communication in relationships, how to stop overthinking in relationships. So in my opinion, these are all different topics and we have to niche down. And so as you can see, there's a lot of different topics under this main search term. However, if we go and type in relationship communication, you can very clearly see that now all the search results are relating to relationship communication. So now it's easier to pinpoint that people are searching up this topic and buying these books here because they're on that exact topic. And now we want to validate that we can actually sell and compete in this topic. And then, like I said, we create a book for this topic and this person. So just to reiterate, because it's very important, we search something, the results match what we're searching, the data proves that this exact topic is selling well. We then create a book targeting that exact topic or that person without assuming anything. So if you want me to go into more of the theory of this and how I actually find good book topics, I will leave a link below to a free KDP course. So definitely watch that video next. It's going to outline my exact process and how I do everything. So now the second most important thing is actually making a good book that people want to buy. Just because we found a good topic does not mean our book will sell. So we need to make sure that our book solves the customer's problem better, faster, and easier than the competitors. Perfect example of this. Let's say one of our competitors has the title ChatGPT for Beginners, Prompt Engineering Made Easy, and then we create a book that ranks beside this book that's titled ChatGPT in 7 Days, a beginner's shortcut to mastering ChatGPT in less than a week. Which book are they going to buy? And so people buy emotionally. They're here to solve a problem, and whichever book offers them the solution better, easier, and faster than everybody else is the one they're going to click and buy. Another example of this, Keto Diet Cookbook, full collection of recipes for every occasion, versus the easy 5-ingredient ketogenic diet cookbook, delicious low-carb, high-fat recipes for people on the keto diet. So of course, this is very specific. However, it's easy, it's 5 ingredients or less, it's delicious. People can easily picture what they're going to get and who it's for. And so the important thing is we are being specific with what the book is, what we're promising, and what the customer would want. And most importantly, we're not being vague. The worst thing you can do is have a vague title. Yeah, this is a book on this. It covers it, kind of. No one's going to buy that book They're going to buy the books that have the definitive statements. They're very firm with what they're offering, and that offer is very clear, easy, better, and just overall desirable. And so just be specific on what the book is about and the promise that it's going to deliver. And so what else makes a good book is we want to package it better than the other competitors. And there are three main pillars to doing this that are very, very important to understand. If we don't nail these three things, it's gonna be very hard to sell books. And that is that our book needs to be easy to see, easy to read, and have a professional design. When it comes to being easy to see, this might sound simple, however, it is very important. Let's say this is what our search term looks like. We want to create a book that looks like this. So when people are scanning through the topic, their eyes are just subconsciously drawn to your book because it just stands out from everything else. And then once it is easy to see, the customers see our book first, we then want it to be easy to read. This might sound simple, but in reality, people are seeing these tiny thumbnails of books. They're not walking through bookstores, they're not analyzing each one in depth. They're very quickly seeing a small thumbnail of a book. If they can't read it at a glance, if the font isn't big enough, good luck selling any books. So we want our book to be easy to see, they see it first. When they do see it, they can read the title easily. It's big, it's bold, it's desirable. And something to remember is when people are searching on Amazon, they're seeing this. They're seeing tons of titles and reviews and just clutter, and there's lots going on. And we want to make sure that our customer isn't having to search for our title. Like this book here, you almost have to search for where the title is. And I can promise you they're just going to keep looking. And so they're going to go to the book that's the easiest to read. And it might sound simple, but it is very important. So we draw their attention in with a cover that is easier to see. We then have a title that is easier to read, and most importantly, it is desirable and a better offer. And you pair this with some social proof, some reviews, they're just going to click on your book subconsciously, because why wouldn't they? And finally, with a good book, we want to have a professional design. So I'm not going to go into this too in depth. I do dive into it a bit deeper in the free course, so watch that video next if you do want to learn about this. However, to keep it simple, we don't want to have the old school DIY generic covers with stock photos, with cluttered text. We want to make sure our designs are simple. The colors are nice and stand out. And most importantly, the cover itself is designed around the title. The title is our offer. It's the focal point of our book. It's what's going to determine if it's right for the customer or not. We want to make sure that our design revolves around this and it's easy to see and read. And then we pair that with one main visual that represents what the book is about. And that's the winning formula. So now what makes a good launch? In my opinion, the book launch is arguably one of the most important things. 1.4 million books get published to Amazon every single year. We can't expect to just publish a book and it magically gets seen. With Amazon's performance-based algorithm, we have to tell it that, hey, people are buying and want our book. And in return, Amazon's going to rank us better. And so the best-selling books on Amazon are not the ones with the most credibility, the best authors, or even the best covers. They're the ones that understand how to launch it. And the ones that get launched the best are the ones that rank highest for the longest. There are three main points to a good book launch. The first thing is making sure our book is desirable, so it sells easily. We then drive traffic and sales to our book. From there, we then see our book through until the end so it can sustain its ranking and sell over time. To make our book desirable, to keep it simple, we upload our book at a discount. For high content books, this is going to be a $9.99 paperback and a 99-cent ebook. We then run a free promo on our Amazon KDP dashboard. And then on this free promo, we're going to use it to get reviews. So I normally get reviews through the site Book Bounty. I will leave it linked below. And I usually prep at least a month beforehand. So when I do go to launch my book, I start the free promo. And within 5 days, I easily have 50 plus reviews. And so once our book is desirable, it's discounted mainly. It has enough reviews to launch it, ideally 20 plus. We can then drive sales to it. So that's mainly done through Amazon ads. So the first 30 days, I'm going to run my launch ads. Once again, I do cover my launch ads and my overall Amazon ad strategy in the free course below. This video is the overview and exactly what I do, but if you want this step by step, then that long video is going to cover it a lot better. So after the 30 days is when we can raise the price of our book and then start to optimize our ads over time. So the most important thing with making money on Amazon is we cannot rely on our Amazon ads to make sales. Our Amazon ads are meant for two things: to launch our book and to sustain our book's ranking, so that our book can get organic sales, which is where the actual money is. So it's very important you understand this, because after the last year and a half of coaching, the biggest reason people don't make money with their books is all their sales are coming from their ads, and they have to have these perfectly optimized ads to make any money. As long as my ads break even, I'm happy, because the organic sales will always put me in the green every single month. So we want to prioritize high demand topics, make good books that people want to buy, and launch them correctly so they get ranking high in those topics. So our main goal with our book is to get ranking on page 1 of our main search term. And because we found a specific search term that has demand, We can very easily do this, and when we do this, it will warrant in organic sales. So the final thing with our launch is seeing it through until the end. A lot of people will stop at 20, 30, 40 reviews, and they never push their book farther enough to actually get the results they're looking for. And so it's very important that we are seeing our book through to the end with our reviews mainly, aiming for 200 plus. Yes, this might take 6 months or even a year, but that's fine as long as you are in an evergreen topic that will sell for a long time. Pushing to this is worth it. We also want to optimize things like our cover. So if you do have a click-through rate on your ads of 0.4 or below, definitely try updating your cover. You'd be surprised how much a new cover will actually change the performance of your book. We want to make sure that our book is optimized like we already talked about. We also want to keep our book ranked. So stay active with things like our ads, optimizing our cover if we need to, getting reviews, and just continuing to put attention on our book. And so finally, what actually creates a sustainable income on Amazon KDP? So it's very simple. We want to, of course, have a topic that has demand. If our topic doesn't have demand, or if it dies off, our book's not going to continue to sell. So make sure you are publishing in evergreen, high demand topics. We want to create a book that is what people want. Like I already mentioned, we have to be solving one problem for one person, making the most desirable offer, and packaging that offer very professionally. Most importantly, we want to continue to push our reviews and get our social proof, because if we are in an evergreen topic that has demand, we have a good book. Your book at 50 reviews versus 250 reviews is a different story. So make sure you're not stopping too early, because you're going to have a very different result if you continue to push those reviews over 6 months or even a year. We of course want to push our book to the top, make sure that our book stays ranking over time so that it lasts. A good way to do this is something I call the 90-day relaunch. So every 90 days, I'm discounting my book back to $9.99. I'm running a bit broader Amazon ads. I might even do a free promo and push some more reviews. But basically what this does is every 90 days, I'm getting an influx of traffic to my book. It just keeps it relevant in the rankings. And then after about 6 months or a year of doing this, you really just solidified your book in the rankings, and it's going to stay ranking high for a long period of time. And of course, you just rinse and repeat the process. Even if your books only make a couple $100 a month, if you're compounding 5, 10, 15 books over time, it's going to stack up to a nice income. So the important thing is we are prioritizing high demand topics, creating what people want, pushing it far to the end, getting the social proof that we need, keeping it relevant in the topic, and then compounding this over time. And when you do all these things, your business will slowly grow. And the important word there is slowly. Your expectation will ruin a lot of things you do in life. We have to not come in with this expectation that we're going to create some books for free really quickly and make thousands of dollars. We're coming in and we're treating this like a business, taking it one book at a time. It's going to take time. It's going to take money. It's going to take effort. It's going to take patience. But when you approach it with that expectation, you're going to surprise yourself. So that's exactly how I've managed to sell over 21,000 high content books on Amazon. If you have any questions, leave them below. And like I mentioned, if you want to learn my exact process step by step, I will leave that video linked below, or it's going to be on the screen somewhere here. But that's it for this one, and we'll see you in the next video.